Be happy.
Be happy. Be happy, mommy.
Come on, keep your chin up.
Enjoy this time.
Smile.
Smile, smile, my darling.
Honey, you gotta count your blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Creative Mamas Unplugged is a podcast where we navigate the hell out of being a creative mom with humor and heart.
We will have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass mamas.
and share hilarious stories around motherhood for some much-needed comic relief. Listen, motherhood is the most creative, most difficult job in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy. Today, I am so excited to welcome a dear friend and true visionary, the incredible Yumiko Takeshima. Applause! Yumiko and I danced together as ballerinas at Alberta Ballet Company 150 years ago. She then went on to dance as a soloist and principal dancer with various companies, namely Dutch National Ballet. She was a prima ballerina. And beyond the stage, she's made her mark as a costume designer, elevating productions around the world with elegance and artistry. In 2002, Yumiko founded the now iconic Yumiko Dancewear brand, beloved by dancers everywhere, including my own daughter. And just as inspiring, Yumiko is a devoted mother to her son, Nobu, embodying artistry, entrepreneurship, and motherhood with such incredible grace. I am truly honored she made the time to join me today. Please welcome the one and only Yumiko Takeshima. Yumiko, for the, I would say like the tweens in the dance world, is kind of like Taylor Swift.
Please.
You are famous amongst the dancers. So Summer, my daughter, really wanted for her birthday last year a Yumiko leotard. So she was very excited when she found out that we are friends. And when she got to meet you on Friday, she was so happy. After we hung up with you, Yumi, she said, "Oh my God, I love her. She's amazing."
Oh, please. Oh, come on. But that's just so sweet of her. And she's she's adorable. Please. I have to meet her in person.
So you will. You're going to meet her in person, and I can't wait to meet Nobu. He is such an angel. What a sweetheart. So you were just in Spain
Yes.
with Nobu,
Yes.
and you were visiting the manufacturing plant for Yumiko.
Yeah, that's right.
So does Nobu travel with you often?
Yes, I try to bring him as much as possible. But of course, his German school schedule is very strict. And I can't really take kids out of school unless they have a holiday. But yeah, since he's little, I try to bring him as much as possible.
Yeah, it's so fun when we can bring our kids with us, when we travel. With us here, it's not as strict. We can take our kids out of school. We just have to do a homeschooling. You have to get paperwork from the school. And then when you're away, you do like a homeschooling.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. You have flexibility.
Yeah. So because Nobu can't really travel as much anymore because of school, how do you and Mark, do you have family there that can help take care of him, or do you have to organize your schedule?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't have family near. My family's in Japan. Mark's family's in US, Texas. So we really have to plan our schedules. And sometimes, Mark has to go away, so I try to stay. And we really need to get those dates right, sometimes hours right, so that, you land plane and you're back home on time for, send over to school. But sometimes, I think, actually 2 times happened that plane didn't arrive on time, or plane was canceled and I had to stay over at some other airport, and Nova had to get up by himself and go to school by himself, pack his snack by himself. But he was able to do it. And we were so proud of him that we said, okay, when you wake up, you're going to be alone, but I would like you to be, confident and you can do this. And he's like, yeah, sure, I can do it. It's fine. So since we've done it once, we're more confident that he's able to do it, but I think he feels good about it. This is great.
Wow. That is really, really impressive. That would be really hard for me, I think. Well, maybe now that Summer's getting older, but my gosh, how does he get to school?
So he takes a bus from in front of house, not far at all. And luckily the bus dropped him off right in front of his school and he doesn't need to change or anything. So it's quite easy. But if the weather's good, he takes his bicycle or sometimes he gets on his little scooter and just kicking that to the school. And worst case, he has ran once.
He
It's
ran.
not too far, so it's really easy
That
for
is-
him to get around here.
How wonderful is that? He's so independent. And he also speaks how many languages?
Well, he speaks quite good 3 languages. His school requires, of course, German and English, and he speaks quite a good Japanese with me. And he's picking up his Spanish quite well because Mark and I often go to Spain.
Right.
And we bring him along, and he's often playing with the village kids who they just love talking. They just talk all day to him. And he's thrown all these Spanish words. Before you know it, he's just kind of understanding everything. It's amazing.
What an amazing kid. You must be so proud of him.
Oh, we're so proud of him. Just the fact that I don't know if he has something to do with because we always took him out of country, seen many different countries, that he seemed to adapt to the culture really well. When I take him to Japan, I can see that he's a little bit more polite, for example. I never told him about it, but in Japanese culture, you are naturally very polite and you always have to know who's older. You speak polite to the older people, or you just have to keep it a little bit more quiet over there.
Yeah.
But he can kind of switch into that right away.
Wow.
And when he's in Spain, he's very loud, I think, just like the kid. And of course, when he's home in Germany, he's very, very, enthusiastic with his friends. But when he brings his friends home, I can see that he's always trying to see if someone's not happy. He's trying to organize the air of the room. It's really great what he does. I don't know where he learned that, but
come on. He learned it from you and Mark. You two are such wonderful, wonderful people.
Oh, please.
You are.
Thank
You
you.
are. And yes, I can't wait to bring my girls to visit you in either Berlin or Spain. But I think that, Spain would be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Really great.
I mean, you and I and Mark traveled to Spain together.
Yeah, when we were young, really fun. Not so much planned, just driving around, visiting new friends, visiting Mark's relatives, and it was great. But it was hard because we didn't have Google Maps or we didn't have internet.
I know. How did we do it? Didn't we almost run out of gas at one point or something, or we got lost?
Yes, also we had to pay toll all the time on the highway, which wasn't in the plan. And I remember that costed us so much money somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have a credit card. You were the only one with a credit card. So we had to ask you to put it on the credit card. And I felt so bad about that. Later, we were like, we owe Cherice all this toll. And how do I figure it out? Yeah, but imagine without the internet back then, how scary it was, but because we were so young, we just did it without any doubt. It's so amazing.
Just went for it. Nobu, he must be so proud of you. Does he understand what it is that you and Mark do? I mean, does he? Yeah,
he's actually seemed to know really well, funny enough. It's not like we spoken to him about it, but I guess he's just seen it. Mm-hmm. He also, seen how we deal with other people. Also, when we bring him to our workshop in Spain, he obviously sees that a lot of people work for us over there. And he sometimes even like to help out a bit. It's really funny. Into the workshop and help the cutters do some stuff. I'm like, this is nice.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's
Yeah, and
sweet.
he said, once or twice he says, "Oh, maybe I'd like to take over your business." We're like, "Well, you don't need to say anything. Don't worry. You're free. Whatever you like in the future. It's nice you said that. We're very happy, but it's not like we don't want you to get stuck on that. It's
Yeah.
fine."
So you are the designer, clearly. I mean, you design costumes, but this Yumiko is a dancewear brand.
Yeah.
Does Nobu have an interest in the arts, and does he have a creative side?
Well, funny enough, not really.
Huh.
It's he seemed to be more on the business side. I have a feeling. Yeah,
Okay.
organizing, also speaking to people. He's really good with people, and also, yeah, he sees what's going on. He clearly sees that very well, which is, I think, very good talent for the business. And I
Yeah.
think that's the good part that he can develop even more. But
Yeah.
I don't really see that he's interested in the artistic side. He's very sporty. He did not want to dance, which I of course asked him, "Would you like to go do some ballet class?" And he said, "Nope." He said, and
Oh.
so he was doing a bunch of other sports, karate at one point, and now he's doing volleyball. So he's very much of a sportsman, but not really interested in dance or the artistic things.
Can you tell a story about when you were in the beautiful theater in?
Yes. When I designed the costume for David Dawson, his Four Seasons, that was going to be performed in Dresden, Germany. Beautiful theater. And I brought Nobu with me to see the dress rehearsal. I think he was like 5 or 6 years old. I thought, okay, maybe it's a good age for him to sit in the audience and see the ballet. Okay, I think it's time. Anyway, he ended up just rolling on the floor the whole night, just rolling up and up and down. And I never even thought theater had that kind of steep. Didn't even roll that well. I was like, oh my goodness. But did not look at the ballet, not once. I was like, okay, that's that. All right, he's not really a ballet person. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. I love it though that you said that you never saw a theater that way before. Isn't that so interesting? Because, we go into a theater and we're excited. We see the possibilities on the stage. There's the curtains, the beautiful stage, there's everything. But your son came in and saw it as a gigantic playground and was like, wow, look at how steep this aisle is.
Exactly, the aisle, the beautiful carpet and the beautiful theater, just good for rolling.
Good for rolling. Oh my
Amazing.
goodness. I love that. I love that. So,
Yeah.
let's see. So you have Yumiko stores in Berlin and
Yeah.
Tokyo and New York, and Nobu travels as much as he can, not as much now because obviously of school. But I'd like to ask you about your transition from being a prima ballerina and a principal dancer with Dutch National Ballet. Listeners, Yumiko Takeshima was one of the most beautiful dancers I've ever seen in my life. Um, how you made the transition from dancing to what you are doing now?
Yeah, so it started, well, I started sewing. It was together while I was dancing. When I first got a job in Dutch National Ballet, I moved from New York to Amsterdam, 1993. When I got to Amsterdam, when you get an apartment there, you get nothing in the apartment. You absolutely have like no light bulb, nothing in the apartment, no kitchen. So I had to start from scratch and I had absolutely no money. It was like, okay, I have to just somehow live. And I had this friend who he wasn't using his sewing machine. He said to me, "Oh, would you like to use my sewing machine and give me your oven toaster that I bought secondhand?" And I said, "Sure, let's do that." And we trade sewing machine to toaster.
Okay.
And I started to sew like curtains for apartments and also bed covers and things like that. And I was going to fabric store all the time near the theater. And one day I found this fabric for a dancewear leotard on the sale rack. And I just bought it and I took it home and I made something like a leotard. It took me 3 days and I came up with something.
Okay.
And I wore that to the company and everybody went, oh my God, where'd you get that? And I said, oh, I made it. I don't know how. and a lot of my colleagues said, can you make me the same one? So I was like, okay, I'll try, but I don't know how. But so I started sewing as soon as basically I joined the Dutch National Ballet. So I was dancing 8 hours a day, performing at nighttime. And the time I had in between, I start to sew for my friends. And more people start to say, oh, can you sew something for me that might look good on me? Or sometimes there were a girl like, her name was Veronique. She said, oh, I got a new tattoo on my back, on my lower back on the left side. And I want to be able to show off my tattoo. Can you make something for me that I can show off this tattoo? I was like, okay, well, all right. So I came up with something and I can't even call it design because I was just busy sewing. And I came up with some leotard that was, she was able to show her tattoo. And at the end, that leotard was called Veronique after her. I took that pattern. And most of my dance wears, I took name from my friends like that. It all had some kind of story. So I was sewing already while I was dancing. And I think I did that about I did about 9 years sewing at home by myself. And yeah, Mark went absolutely crazy. The house became a mess. It became like fabric all over, needles on the floor. I was constantly sewing. I had no time to live, but just sewing every moment I had when I was home. And Mark says, I gotta get this factory out of house. He said, I can't even live like that. I mean, dogs were walking on the fabrics and it was just a mess, crazy.
Wow.
And then so he set up a business for me in Spain. So it was official business since 2002, but I was still dancing and I retired dancing 2014.
Wow.
And as soon as I stopped dancing, it was a bit like I already have done so much. All my patterns, all my setup, people were already working for me 12 years by then in Spain. They knew what they were doing. So when I retired from dancing, I had all this time to spend more time for designing, but I didn't have that much to do in a way. So.
How wonderful that Mark was able to do that for you.
Yeah, he really he had to get that out of the house. He says, he's like, oh my goodness, this is a chaos. Like we have no life whatsoever, nowhere to live. But he was great. It was really wonderful of him that he said, okay, let's find good people and let's get this started. Yeah.
Family business. I love it. I love it. I love it how this transition happened so naturally for you. And because I mean, you clearly didn't aspire to transition into being a designer or to being the owner of this huge company now that is so well known. It just sort of happened naturally because you were doing something that just brought you joy.
Yeah, it's a joy and it's kind of a hobby. Yeah. It's really funny because I didn't even know I liked sewing that much. I started sewing, not really knowing how to do it or anything. And all of a sudden, I just found myself on the machine all the time, just sewing. And I don't even call myself a designer. I never thought that I was a designer. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to, I don't know anything except for I love fabrics. I don't know what it is. I think it's because my family was a kimono business family that I grew up in the fabrics. And I love fabrics. Every country I performed, I always found a fabric store and I was in there touching fabrics or bought it and brought it back not knowing what I'm gonna do with it. I just bought it. Yeah, it still is kind of like a hobby. I just love doing it. And sometimes when I see beautiful dancer or just watching dancers dance, I go, oh, maybe if I design something like that on the person will look really nice. Or it just design a lot of times pop into my head.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.